Mic check 1 2 1 2. Just checking. We're going to go live in just a few minutes, everyone.
Welcome to the Motivated Marketer, the show that will give you the motivation, inspiration, and information you need to stay motivated in your online business. And now, here's your host, Jory Holness.
What is going on? I absolutely love that song. Thank you so much for joining me here on The Motivated Marketer, the show where I'm going to give you the motivation, information, and inspiration you need to stay motivated in your online business. Now, just in case you didn't hear in the beginning, you don't know who I am, you're like, who is this person talking to me right now? Well, let me just introduce myself. Excuse me there. Just give me 1 second to make sure everything is working properly. And it should be. My name is Jory Holness. I consider myself a video marketing educator. Gotta tell you, I am very, very jazzed to be able to do this today. Let me just turn that down completely. All right. Got that off. Love that song though. Today is a very special broadcast for me because number one, I get to do something that most people don't get to do. Most people never get to thank the person that they see that has motivated them. And this is something I get to do today. So I'm very, very grateful and humbled to be able to do that. So let me just first tell you a little story. A couple of years ago, I saw someone do a live broadcast. I think I was scrolling through my news feed on Facebook, I think it was, and I'm looking through, and it caught my attention because the person was really crisp and had a nice background, and I realized that they were using a virtual background, so I was saying to myself, wow, this person's got to be in a multi-million-dollar recording studio, and they're broadcasting live over the internet? That's amazing. So I stopped everything I was doing, and I was watching, and I'm looking at it more and more going, you know, I bet you that's pre-recorded. I bet you that's not really live. And I saw there was a comment box. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a comment. And I made a comment, asked a question, because the person said, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. Drop them in the comment section. So I did that. Pushed enter. And the person responded. And I was shocked. And not only did the person respond, the person said my name. So right there, I was hooked. I hit the subscribe button. I remember telling my family and my friends that I called my mom and my dad up and called everyone up. Said, you got to check out this person. You got to see what they're doing right now. And they're not like this, like they're not into it like, you know, you and I. So they were all like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, I'll check it out when I can. But I was blown away. And at that moment, this person motivated me to start doing this. Now, to back up just a little bit, I learned how to do video in school, but I'm going to be completely honest with you and tell you, I hated it. I hated it in school. I wanted nothing to do with video. I just wanted to make records like I saw all of my friends doing. But of course, I had to go ahead and learn the video because it was part of the course curriculum. If I didn't pass that, I was going to fail. And if I failed, my mother would have killed me. So to say that the motivation level to pass was set really high would be an understatement. So I understand what it takes to do all this. And I understand that the processing power and the software and the hardware, but I just didn't think at that time that we had this ability. Fast forward to today. Everybody's got the ability to go on Facebook Live. Everybody's got the ability to go on YouTube Live. You can go on Periscope, and I can mention a whole bunch of others. It's amazing what we are able to do today. Now, before I go any further, let me just give you a couple of housekeeping rules. I am manning the chat here on Facebook Live. I'm also manning the chat on YouTube Live. We are simulcasting to both locations at the same time. Now, if you want to get your business mentioned or yourself mentioned, just go ahead and drop a comment here on Facebook. Unfortunately for the YouTubers, I can't bring you in to the chat, but for the Facebook viewers, while we're live, I can do that. Now, whether you're watching live or on the rebroadcast, could you do me a favor? I would really appreciate a like. But before you give me a like, I love likes, but I like the love icon really well. I like this happy smiley face. Those are my two favorites. So if you want to give me a like, I'll take it. I'll appreciate it. I really would like a love or the happy smiley face. Even the happy smiley face. I like that one a lot. So if you could do that for me, I'd appreciate it. Over on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and also give this video a like. So exactly who am I talking about here today? Well, you know what? Her name is Virginia Parsons. And like I said, I get to thank the person that motivated me. So Virginia was nice enough to sit down and have an interview with me. But before I go any further, you know what? Let me just explain to you who Virginia is. Let's talk all about Virginia. My guest today is Virginia Parsons, and Virginia is a certified coach and founder of Hangout Marketing University and Media Spotlight Marketing. Virginia teaches strategies to help entrepreneurs let go of their fear and shine online so they can build a loyal following and touch people's lives with their passion. For the past 3 years, Virginia has produced and hosted a weekly web TV show, which is called The Inspirational Business Women Show, that provides tips, strategies, and advice from inspirational businesswomen in the know. And now, let me introduce to you the interview with Virginia Parsons. That a couple of years ago, I first saw you do this, and I'm being totally honest with you. I got to tell you that you inspired me to start doing this, because the first time I saw you do this, I said to myself, that cannot be live. That's got to be pre-recorded. And I remember I whipped out my keyboard and I typed and I asked you a question and I hit enter and I hit it like, she's not going to answer me because that's not live. And when you not only did you answer me, but you said my name, my mouth was on the floor. And from that moment on, you had me riveted. I was just up against the screen watching every little thing you were doing. I could not believe you were doing this. And if memory serves me correctly, I think it was an interview you were doing with Robin Holland. And I remember telling Robin this story. So for me, I want to thank you very much, because you inspired me to start this from your broadcast. When I saw your broadcast, I said, you know what? I know I learned this in school and I had no interest, but you know what? Virginia looks awesome doing that. I didn't know you could look that awesome. I want to do the same thing. So thank you very much for inspiring me and for doing what you do, because if you didn't do it, I probably wouldn't be doing it today, because it's really, I remember I told my wife and I told my mom and my dad, and I pulled my kids and I showed my friends, and you know, they're not into this like we are. So they were kind of, that's nice, dear. But I was, look at what she can do, and look at the thing behind there. I thought it was great. So thank you very, very much.
I am so honored. Oh, thank you. That is fun to hear, because, you know, that's sort of how I got started anyway, Jory. It was because I had seen so many unprofessional live broadcasts that just did not, they weren't a good reflection of who the person even was and what their skill sets were and what their passions were and what they were offering to their viewers. So it became sort of a determination of mine. I mean, I took some training myself, and then I, like you, just got into exploration, said, okay, what's the tools I can use that really will make me look professional and let people know I am professional? And there's nothing better. I mean, because with the camera, you want to look your best, of course. Although, you know, with guys, you know, they got their ball caps on backwards and
right. I've seen all that. These we gals, we do clean up a little bit before we go on live. You look a lot better than we do.
Anyway, thank you. I'm so glad that it was inspiration. And that interview with Robin, my gosh, is over 2 years ago.
Yeah, so I'm showing you how long ago that when I saw that it still to this day sticks in my mind. That, and I tell people all the time, I have done classes on that, and I will show them that exact interview saying, and this is the person who inspired me to start doing this. I should have told you this a long time ago, but I figured I'd save it for the interview and let you know. So I just wanted to thank you because you're the reason why I started doing this. And like you too, I wanted to look, when I saw you, you looked really professional. And same thing, I went through all these different softwares and said, nah, that doesn't work, or cameras, or I wanted to look and sound just as professional because, like I was telling you earlier, I came from a background with radio and TV, and so I wanted to look the part. And like you, same thing, I saw all these things that, wow, they don't look good, or they don't sound good, or the camera keeps seeking every time they get close or they move back. It's refocusing and the lighting wasn't good. And I said, no, that's not going to be me. But you had set the bar. Every time I looked at something, I would go back and look at your broadcast and go, well, how does Virginia look? No, Virginia's really in focus and she's really got good lighting. And that's what made me pick the software I was using. It was all because of you.
Oh, again, that's great to hear because, here I do the Inspirational Businesswoman show. I have been doing it I'm toward the end of my third season now. And that was the whole point, was to inspire women and, of course, men. I have lots of followers who are men like you, and we love you guys. But it was to provide a platform so that they could, what I call, shine, so they could really step out of their shadow and shine as the go-to expert that they are, deliver their passion to the world in a way that is perceived of value. And that's what video provides, whether or not it's live stream or you take the live stream and turn it into a recorded video. It really helps you get out there in a way that there's just no other medium that can do it, like a live video. Now, I don't have a background in television. As a matter of fact, this is just totally self-taught. It was sort of like, how can I do this better? What other applications are out there? How else can I do this so that it comes across as you say, as clearly as possible so that the audience gets value? And it comes back to everything that I intend to do. My whole way of being is to provide value for the viewers. And if you're not providing value, your viewers won't stick around. And I will say I'm proud to have my viewership continue to grow. So I guess something's working.
It's definitely working because I'm one of your viewers. I still watch your show to this day. Every time it comes up in my feed, no matter what I'm doing, I stop and go, oh, Virginia's on. So I watch you. So it's definitely working. So let me ask you that since you talked about this and you explained how you got into this, what was your biggest struggle with live streaming? Did you have any issues with the problem with live streaming? What problems did you face?
Well, let's start with the basics. That's called technology. That always gives you problems, right?
That's true.
I'm not a computer junkie by nature. I've grown into one in my older years, I guess I would say, and it was there were many moments where I wanted to pull my hair out, literally, because what you were expecting to happen wasn't happening, or it was delayed, or there was the audio was not good quality. So what you have to think about, and what I really realized, is that this technology, this live streaming technology, is still in its infant stage. Now, it's doing great stuff, and it's something that's now available for all of us for virtually no cost to get the word out. So we really are in the same playing field with all the, big professionals out there.
I agree.
But the technology has got to be something you have to kind of roll with, because it's constantly changing. They're constantly improving whatever platform it is that they are putting out there. And you have to be flexible enough to roll with it. And some days it just doesn't work the way you expect it to. And I just find those laughable moments, and I just chalk it up to, well, that's technology. You can't, let's put it this way, Jory, you cannot worry about being perfect with this technology, because it won't let you be, although I know you can strive for it. I'm all for that. But you can't have that be your goal. Your goal instead has to be to use the technology as an incredible tool that helps you convey powerful information to your audience that, in my opinion, they should be able to pick up and use right away. So that's why I do my broadcast the way I do. I want to give them actionable advice, strategies, and tips that they can pick up and use in their own life in a way that'll make it better. And there's no better way to do that than with live streaming.
I agree with you. That was well said. That's one of the things that I try to tell my clients and students too. No matter what I have done, and I've done a podcast, I've done blogging, I've done a lot of different things. And like I was telling someone the other day, you could take all of my podcasts and string them together and pit them against just one live stream, and the live stream got more engagement and more views and more everything than all of those podcasts put together. So yeah, I agree with you. And yeah, technology is constantly changing. There's always something new you got to learn. And for example, Facebook and YouTube, they keep making changes as well, hopefully for the better. Like one of the things I'm hoping is Facebook is just doing 720p now, but YouTube is 1080p. So when you see the Facebook, it looks great on mobile, but it could look a lot better on desktop, where on YouTube, it looks great on both. But I know there's a big war going on between the two, so you got to pick your platform, and that's a question I have all the time. Which one is better? I don't think they're necessarily better, but there's pros and cons to the both. What do you feel about that? Like, for example, Facebook and YouTube. Which one? I know which one you use, but
it's all about where your audience is hanging out.
I agree.
You got to think about it from the standpoint of who are you wanting to reach. And so if your primary audience is on YouTube, that's the place that you really want to focus. If your audience happens to be on Facebook, which, I mean, good God, we're talking about 1 billion people probably on Facebook now, right?
Yeah, 1.8 billion. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So most people's audience is probably on Facebook. So I think it's probably the platform of choice at this point. But here's why I'm not as fond of Facebook. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons, in my opinion, is that you're just not getting what I call the Google juice or the SEO value in Facebook. And it's here today and gone tomorrow. It's in the stream. So the reason I like the YouTube platform, which is a Google product, is that it does get SEO'd. And that means that, for those of you who aren't familiar with that term, search engine optimized, meaning that your video is going to get preference there. It's going to get preference when you are out searching across, looking for anything. So I still have to say that the value is there to do YouTube, but I wouldn't ignore Facebook. I don't ignore Facebook. So what's my conclusion? Use them both.
I agree with you in that. From someone who came from the SEO world, and I wrote a couple of books on it, yeah, I agree with you, because you are 100% correct. Whereas Facebook has the audience, you're right. Once you're done with the broadcast, it's done. It can't be searched. It can't be found unless you push it in front of an audience. Whereas on YouTube, once that's done with the keywords and everything, that can be found 2, 3, 4 years later on, and you get new viewers and new subscribers. Not the case with Facebook. But I know they're going to change that, but right now I don't see them doing it. So like you, I will use both, but my primary focus has been on Facebook. I just kind of like it better. It's easier to show people to start off and then move them onto other platforms. But yeah, I agree with you. It's one and done. Once you do it, it's over. That's it. I do agree with that. Yeah. Let me ask you, go ahead.
I have one more point to make on that.
No, make as many points as you'd like.
Yeah, it will probably relate to, one of your questions anyway, and that is that you've got to understand that this live streaming that you do, whatever platform you choose, it becomes a video asset for your business. So you've got to think about it beyond just, I've got to get live because everybody's doing it. Right. You need to get live because you need to create these assets for yourself that you can leverage and repurpose in multiple ways. And so you've got that ability to take your live stream off of Facebook and save it and download it to your computer or to the cloud, and then start to take what I call those snippets, those little micro video moments, and then reuse those. And those you can get back out there in multiple ways. So so even though it's gone in the stream as far as Facebook's concerned, it's not gone for you. You go get it, and you get it onto your computer or up in the cloud, and now repurpose it.
Love it. That is great advice. You know what? There was a reason why I wanted to have you on this interview, because I knew you were going to drop some knowledge bombs, and I'm sure my audience is going to go, wow, I never thought about that. That is awesome advice. Thank you very much for that. Virginia, let me ask you, what advice could you give to others when it comes to doing this besides just that? For example, what I mean is not just the technology, because you and I, we use similar technology. Okay, we had a discussion prior to this before we start recording. For example, cameras. We both use the same camera, but I was telling you I have a much more expensive camera. What could you give someone advice when it comes to camera and lighting? What do you think they should do? Should they start off with, for example, a $4,000 camera or a $200 camera? What's your advice on that?
Oh, you are so funny. No, don't start with a $4,000 camera. I have no intention of ever getting a $4,000 camera. Start with your phone. Your phone has great camera already on it, and it's set up to just go ahead and do a live. So start there. I don't know anyone right now who doesn't have an iPhone or an Android that will do this for you and doesn't have good quality camera built right into it. So start there. Now, Jory and I both use the Logitech mine's a 920 C, I think it is.
Yep,
and
C920.
It gives you the 1080p, which is the best quality right now until we get into what you're talking about, the 4G, I think it is.
4K.
You don't need to know all that technology. Or 4K, okay. Yeah, no, start with your phone. And then when you get your laptop, find out what kind of a camera it has on it and see what kind of resolution it has. There's nothing wrong with using the camera on your laptop. I just happen to prefer a good quality camera that I put on my monitor, which is because I'm on a desktop. But if you have a laptop, you can put that right on top of your laptop monitor area. And that's all you need. And a Logitech is, I don't know, I haven't priced it in a while, but it's around $100 and something, if that. Maybe it's less than $100.
It's less than $100 now.
Yeah, I think that the only thing that is even more important than your camera, though, is really your audio. I really think you need a good quality mic. So you can do something as simple, and for starters, you can do something as simple as grab the headset for your phone, plug it into your phone or plug it into your laptop and use that as a mic. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to get better quality, my favorite, and I think Jory as well, I use my Yeti, which is a good quality mic. It's a directional mic and it's a USB plug-in mic. And I think it just does a really good job because it just focuses on the direction of that you have it faced in, and it sort of blocks out or diminishes the peripheral sounds. Those are the two things you really have to focus on. And then the final thing, I guess, is being yourself and falling in love with the camera. I had all sorts of interpretation when I started. You guys have to know I didn't have a techie background like Jory at all. And if I can figure this stuff out, so can you. It's sort of like you grab your passion and you run with it. And my passion became learning how to use this technology, not for the technology itself. I wanted to learn to use the technology so the technology would get into the background and not be an issue when I was interviewing someone or when I was providing information via video. So the reason to get good quality equipment and the reason to really spend some time using these platforms, and there's many, I'm sure Jory's already shared lots of them with you, but the reason to start and find one you like and get comfortable with it is that so that it becomes a non-issue, so that it's in the background, it works most of the time for you, and you can focus on delivering valuable content to your viewers.
Because after all, that's what they really want. And I'm glad I asked you the question because you just made my points for me for a lot when I'm teaching my students. You just went over the points for example, the audio. I never realized on video. I always thought it was the video. Video was the most important thing. And it is. It's one of the things. But I realize now that I've been doing tests, and now I remember going back in school and all that. They did teach me this. You can have the best camera, the best lighting. And if your audio sounds terrible, nobody's going to watch that video. So you're right. I agree with you. I try not to make it so technical that you got to buy this and it's $4,000. You got to buy this microphone, that's $2,000. You can do things that are much cheaper that sound really good. And like you, I want to try to make the technology the background thing. And look at it from my point of view. I'm very techie. If you throw your computer down and it breaks in a million pieces, I can put it back together. But for someone who was techie, when I saw you do this, I was mesmerized. Because I know what it takes to do that. I know the processing power, what it takes to do all this. And I was floored a couple of years ago when I saw you doing this. I know how it's done, but I didn't think you could do it live. And like I said, when you answered me, because like I said, I'm going to answer a question. I know she's not going to answer me back. When you answered back and said my name, from that moment on, you had me hooked. And it was your content too. I became a loyal subscriber. I was there from moment one once I saw that. So I agree with you with all this, and I'm very, very glad I asked you these questions, and I'm so very glad I had you on. I knew you were going to bring a lot of these points home. You know when you talk to someone like a child, you tell your child, don't do this because I said so, and that's not enough for them, but when they hear it from someone else, and it's the same thing that you've been telling them, but they hear it from someone else, you just made a lot of the same points that I've been trying to get across to my students, my viewers. You made the same points. So I hope they're listening because you brought the same points home. So I really, really appreciate that. Virginia?
Well, I'm happy to share that with you. And I'm going to sort of sum it all up with the point you just made, Jory. And that is that the beauty of live streaming, when you pick the right platform, is that you get engagement. And you were just an example of that. You engaged and I engaged back with you, responded to your comments, and there's no medium that you can do better than that. Video's fabulous. Pre-recorded video is great, but you can't get the engagement unless you go live and then pay attention to what your viewers are feeding back to you. And that makes it a more valuable broadcast for everybody because you are including them in the broadcast. And finally, there's just no better way to establish the know, trust, and like factor than using live video.
I agree with you 100%. Again, you're bringing home points that I've told all the time to my viewers and my students. I am so very glad that I had you on today. Virginia, this for me, I don't know if you can see how much I'm glowing, but you are going to be the very first interview that I'm going to show to my students, and I specifically asked you first, and I was really hoping when I first sent you the message, it was just, hey, what do you think? But when you said now, can we do it now? My heart jumped out of my chest. I was, yes, Virginia's going to do this now with me. Awesome. Because I wanted you to be the first because like I said, people always ask me, well, how did you get into this? And when I first started to tell them my story, I would start with my background with radio and television. And then I thought about it and said, well, that's when I learned it years ago, but I didn't really do this. It's the person that inspired me to do it now. And that is you. And that is why I wanted to have you on. I remember telling Robin, who is the person I saw you interview that day, I told her this whole story, but I never got to tell it to you. So I don't know if anyone else and my viewers, they saw someone, they saw you, they saw me, and something we did inspired them. They said, wow, you know what? I want to do it just like them. But you were the reason why I started this. I saw you do this 2 years ago, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do the exact same thing, and I'm going to do it just like Virginia's doing it. So again, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this. I know I've turned this into I love Virginia Fest, but I truly honestly do. I'm excited to have you on. I don't know if you can tell from the way I'm talking, but I was very, very happy when you said yes, and I was thrilled to have you on, and I knew you were going to bring, without me asking, all these points up that I'm trying to get across to my students and my viewers. And I get questions all the time about the exact same things that I've just gone over. Maybe because you brought it up, maybe they'll listen even more. So thank you very much for that.
Well, you are very, very welcome. I'm thrilled to have some time with you, Jory, and I've enjoyed getting to know you over, that's the other beauty of live streaming. I mean, you get to know people from around the world. My audience is from around the world. The people that I interview are from around the world. And I don't know where else you can do this. This is, we couldn't do this 10 years ago. It's very
Absolutely.
exciting. So what Jory just said is, I'm going to say to all of you who are watching this, whether it's live or in replay someplace else, is go do this now. Just like I said, sure, let's work this interview out now. Let's get her done.
I keep telling people the same thing. Do this before you can't do it anymore, before they make changes. And I really hope you rung the point home with them too. Do this now. And I agree with you. There is no other medium like video and live. If you're not going to do it live, what's the point? You're trying to get engagement from your audience. If you don't do it live, then it's just like every other video that's out there. And I don't want to make it that way. Before I got, there was one other thing that I brought. Oh, I was about to do this. I was speaking to someone, another professional that does what we do. And when I told them I was going to bring you on, she said to me, but doesn't Virginia teach what you teach? And I said, well, yeah, kind of. And she said, well, why are you going to have her on then? Aren't you afraid your audience is going to gravitate to her instead of you? And here's my answer to this. Yes, we teach similar things. I teach more on Facebook side. You teach more on the Google side. We teach in similar areas. But from what she said, I believe that comes from a scarcity mindset, that you think that there's not enough in the world for everybody and I have to keep everything to myself and close to my chest and no one else can get it. I don't believe in that. I think the saying goes that when the storm comes in, all the ships rise in the bay. That's how I feel about it. Plus, I wanted to give back to you because a couple of my students do know that you're going to be on a broadcast. They just don't know when. So when they see this, they're going to know. But I wanted to give back to you because you're the person that inspired me. And I just wanted to, in some way, shape, or form, give back to you of all the things and all the, like you said, I have students from Norway and Australia and places I can't even pronounce all the words. And I never would have met them if I didn't start doing this live streaming. So it's a really powerful medium. I see this going a lot of different places. Like I tell my students too, they don't know the wars that are going on behind the scenes between Facebook and Google and Periscope and Twitter and Busker, and I can go on and on and on with all the services. And the point you made before too about which one to choose, pick one. Choose one where your audience is. That's the most important thing I try to tell all the time. Decide, because they see me doing it on Facebook and then they say, but I want to do it on Google. Well, is that where your audience is? Or, other point you made too, I love that, what you said, take the snippets from what you're doing. Sorry about that, Virginia. We were talking about technology getting in the way, and there you go. My mic decides it doesn't want to play nice, and it dies, but we're back. You know what? They need to fix technology. I guess I have to have a gremlin sitting here with me, working on my machine, making sure everything works perfectly while I'm doing this, because there's always something. Anyway, though, thank you very, very much for doing this interview with me. I really do appreciate it. Before we go, if people want to find out more about you, where can they go to do that?
Yes, there are several places to go, but I'll give you the main one that you can go to, and it's called Hangout Marketing U, and that is U, the letter U, hangoutmarketingu.com. You can go there, and I have a free checklist. It's all about how to use the checklist to get on live stream and get the word out, so feel free to download that checklist. And again, I just want to thank you, Jory, for having me. It's been great fun just, talking about this. It's both of our passions, and I just want to encourage all of you to not be intimidated by the technology. Just go do it, have some fun with it, and you will get the results you're looking for.
Excellent. Virginia, again, thank you so much for being here with me today. I do appreciate it. And everyone, I hope you enjoyed this interview with Virginia Parsons. Thank you again, Virginia.
Thank you, Jerry.
That was just so much fun to do, I got to tell you. Now, I'm getting questions from some of you. You're like, this is not live. You're not doing it live. This is all pre-recorded. All right. Honestly, the interview was pre-recorded, but me talking to you right now, this is live. So I promised that if you had made some comments below on Facebook, sorry, YouTubers, I know you're complaining as well, but I can't help it because right now the technology isn't there yet for me to do this, but it's coming. I know it's coming. I said I would give you a shout out. So let me go and take a look and see who has said what in the comments section. So let me just take a look. Let's see if this shows up. It doesn't want to show up there. Hold on. Let's see if it shows up here. No, it doesn't want to show up there. All right. You know what? The technology doesn't want to play well right now, but I'm going to fix that. Simone, you said hi. Thank you very much. Wayne, thank you very much for being here. Who else was here? May, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. There's a few other people. I'm just going and looking in the chat really quick to see who else was here. I hope I'm pronouncing your name, because with a name like Jory, I should get all names like this correct. Naveen, thank you for being here. I know it's, I think it's really early or late at night for you. So thank you so much for being here live. I do appreciate it. Like Virginia said, just go out and do it. My students are sick and tired of me telling them this. Just go get on live, because guess what? This is something that if you did this just a couple of years ago, because I know, because I've watched people do it. I've helped people set this up. Right now, Facebook Live is giving you the ability to do this for free. Just a few years ago, I believe this was, I think it was $1,000 a minute. I think it was a minute. So I know we've been talking for over 30 minutes. Figure out how much that is. It's a lot of money. You've got the ability to be just like the big networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, the cable channels, wherever you are in the world, you now have a television studio inside of either your mobile device or, like I'm doing and Virginia's doing, on our desktop computer. There is no excuse why you can't be doing this. And I decided, like I said, I don't know if you watched the first broadcast of the Motivated Marketer, but I decided to bring this back because, just quickly again, I didn't think I was getting the results that I wanted. I didn't think I was getting my message out there. Even though I was getting like extremely great reviews on the podcast and iTunes, and I just didn't think I was reaching the people that I was going to. And then I got flooded with all these messages in my email box, and you guys found me in other ways. So I really want to thank all of you that did that, because you're the reason that brought me back. So you inspired me to do this. So between the two, between what Virginia has done and what you have done, the Motivated Marketer is back. So everyone, thank you so very much for being with me here live on the broadcast today. I do appreciate it. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and leave a comment. Anyway, I try to get back to everybody. I'm sure Virginia will try to get back to you as well. Make sure you check out Virginia's site. Okay, it's listed in the show notes. It's also going to be up on YouTube in the show notes there. What else can I say? I think this was a really great broadcast. So I'm going to leave you with one last thing, and that is the outro that I've designed for you that was part of the original Motivated Marketer, but now I get to make it in video. Here we go. Once again, thank you so very much for spending your valuable time with me. I do so appreciate it. And remember, no one has the exact same skill sets as you, because you are
unique, and it would be a shame for you to take those unique gifts with you to the grave, never having shared them with the world. Don't rob the world of your greatness, because guess what? You are unique and your voice matters. Let me help you to share your special gifts with the world. Once again, my name is Jory Holness, the Motivated Marketer, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.